Blurred Lines. You hear that, man? You know, I Steppin, Marcus J. We're back live from the Dan Legacy Internet Radio. Yours truly, Marcus J. And my big brother, Big Bro Joe, a.k.a. Uncle Phil, up in this joint.
The Dapper Don himself.
Dapper Don himself. All right, we're going to move on. We got a little bit more to get to. This is our final segment before we end it with the rants and our closings. Of course, we're going to talk about Creflo in Oklahoma and Marvin Gaye. You notice that I played Blurred Lines and got to give it up earlier, so you know we're going to get into the verdict that went down in the case between Marvin Gaye's family and Pharrell and Robin Thicke, Big Bro Joe. It's some craziness going on here in the school systems here in Richmond, Virginia. When you and I were talking earlier, you had hit me to a particular story, and I said, I cannot believe it is going down like that. What the hell is going on, man? What are you talking about?
Yo, it's a what the hell moment for me. Yo, and I'm going to just read you the caption. Here we got it from NBC WWBT Channel 12. Montrose Elementary School cafeteria worker faces drug charges. A former Henrico County Public Schools employee faces drug charges after police executed a search warrant and found marijuana and a synthetic drug like marijuana. I don't know if I can say the name or not. Can I say the name?
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay. Well, her name is Cynthia Diane Barton. You on blast. Is charged with possession of marijuana.
Like it's a gotcha paper on the radio.
Gotcha.
Word.
With possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute, and possession of spice, which is a synthetic drug like marijuana, with intent to distribute. An investigation by Henrico police determined that Barton, 37, was engaged in illegal activity in the 100 block of East Gary Street. Police said none of the drug activity happened on HCPS property, which is Henrico County Public Schools, for y'all who don't know acronyms. However, at the time of her arrest, Barton was a cafeteria worker at Montrose Elementary School in Sanston. Henrico County Public Schools spokeswoman Andy Jenks confirmed Barton was placed on leave following her arrest. For me, this is a what the damn hell moment, because, folks, we got cafeteria ladies who we all suspected back in the day of putting something in the pizza. Quit playing. Y'all know better. But this chick here was a cafeteria school lady who worked in the cafeteria serving our children. And to me, it just bugs out of how stupid are we and what background checks do we do for our communities? And it irks my soul, because I still have a youngster in Richmond public school systems who is not old enough to know what's going on with these politics that we have going. But it just trifles me that you are a drug dealer. I don't give a darn how you want to put it, because if it was a black man, guess what? You'd be all over the front page getting cussed out.
Gotcha papers.
Gotcha. You'd be all in the gotcha papers. I don't even know if I saw this on the gotcha papers, and I get it. I subscribe.
I don't know how you, in good conscience, can have drugs at school. You know, if you're a kid, you're a dummy by virtue of your age. You haven't had an opportunity to not be a dummy a lot of times if you're a kid. So depending on the home training that you have, if you didn't absorb it properly, you might still be a dummy as a kid. But as a grown person, the assumption is if you can go through whatever process it is to be around children and work in a school where you got to get vetted and fingerprinted and all that kind of shit, and you got drugs at school, come on, man.
Come on,
son. Come on, son. Like, really, big bro, I'm very rarely at a loss for words.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
You quiet on this one?
I'm not quiet.
Oh, okay. I was just checking.
I mean, because I'm looking at, I'm looking at Cynthia Diane Barton, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell?
What the hell?
Illegal activity.
Illegal. Now, think about it. It's not just regular weed.
She's trying to distribute.
Distribution. That means, I'm going to just tell you this because I'm prior law enforcement. That's a pound or more. Distribution. And not only regular weed, but synthetic. Yo, we all know, and I'm going to just put this out here, allegedly, all y'all kids who might be listening later on the YouTube joints, or your parents got it on here, because you know when you and my parent, I listen to what my parents listen to. So what it was listen, who was the famous rapper? His name is who? What's my boy name? Oh my goodness, I can see him, the fat dude with the beard from Miami.
Oh, Rick Ross.
Rick Ross.
You talking about the dude who stole the name of the biggest crack dealer in America? The guy that used to be a corrections officer, but now he wants to be named after the biggest crack dealer in America. You talking about that whack dude?
Him.
The one who used to be fat, but now he's not no more.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't.
Yo, he lost mad weight though.
Yeah, whatever.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I did. Ain't no how Steppin with Marcus. Yeah, I'll give a shout out to our brother Michael M is listening to us.
Yo, Mike. He was my rat back in the day when he was on my rats.
Yeah, man. And shout out to Michael. Shout out to Manuel M, who's listening. We got a couple of brand new listeners. Shout out to my brother Dave in LA, who's listening to us as well right now. Shout out to the folks that is checking in with us here on Legacy Internet Radio. Shout out to our sister Lisa, who's listening to us. I want to give a shout out to
in Texas, baby, in Texas.
Lisa's in Texas. Shout out to her. And shout out to our brother Aaron Turner, who of course does the Aaron Turner show right here on Legacy Internet Radio every single Saturday 5 o'clock.
My bad. You forgot one. I forgot my girl Nika, who happy birthday, baby. Happy birthday,
shout out to Nika.
She in Texas too.
Happy birthday to Nika. You in Texas. So happy birthday to you. I hope you are somewhere enjoying your birthday. I hope that you're having a great day, and whoever it is that's around you said something or did something nice for you, and you got a big ass grin on your face. And so I'll give you a little bit of happy birthday shout out. Little Stevie Wonder is going to play for you. I'm going to ask respectfully that you don't sing. I'll let
turn the music.
I'll let it play for our sister, since she's listening to us, and she's listening to us on her birthday. So I'll give her a little bit of a shout out. I'll let that run in the background. Ain't no half step on Marcus. All right, listen. Let us continue on with the discussion. I teased it a couple of times. Marvin Gaye, Robin Thicke. We know that there was a lawsuit that was settled last week. The lawsuit was the Marvin Gaye family suing Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams over the usage of the song Blurred Lines.
Wow.
Blurred Lines, of course, we know was the smash summer hit that came out last year or the year before, whenever it was, that featured Robin Thicke, and it also featured Pharrell. Of course, the Marvin Gaye family sued, saying that it was the song was stolen, that they didn't get the proper authority to acknowledge that they had used Marvin Gaye's song. The song in question is "Got to Give It Up," which came out in the late 70s. And then when you listen to Blurred Lines, I played both of them earlier on the show. If you're listening to this show, then you're old enough to know the damn Marvin Gaye song, and you certainly know the more recent Robin Thicke song. I'll be honest with you, I'll start it off here, Joe. I heard the songs, and I'll be honest with you, I had to hear about this lawsuit to even hear that the songs were similar. I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't think that the songs was similar. And then when I saw his daughter, Nona Gaye, her reaction to the $7.5 million judgment that was issued in their favor, man, you would have thought that, Marvin Sr. wasn't the one that pulled that trigger. That was Pharrell and Robin Thicke that did that job. And so what you think, man? Do you think that the justice was served here, or what?
All right. You mind if I'm going to go ahead and paraphrase what we have from Hollywood. Was it Hollywood Esquire? Blurred Lines jury orders Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams to pay $7.4 million. The battle over a $16 million song exploded. How much similarity is too much? First of all, let's be real, folks. Similarities in songs happen every day. And we can't sit there and say that just because it's similar doesn't mean that it's always there. But in this instance, the verdict was reached after 8 days of trial testimony examining whether Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams' Blurred Lines, one of the most successful songs of the young century, was improperly drawn from a soulful hallmark from the prior Mr. Marvin Gaye in 1977 hit "Got to Give It Up." Ultimately, a jury comprised of 5 women and 3 men heard dueling opinions regarding blurred lines and decided to order Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams to pay $4 million in copyright damages plus profits attributable to infringement, which for Thicke was determined at $1.8 million and for Williams, which is determined at $1.6 million. The total being
$7.4 million. Now, how crazy is that? I don't know.
That's crazy as hell. To me, that's a what the hell moment.
Well, that's the whole point of me bringing it up. So
$7.4 million for something that, guess what? People sing the same songs every day.
Interpolation is I think the word that they use when you take a piece of another song and you use it in your song. We know that Vanilla Ice had to pay for the song Ice Ice Baby. I believe the song was called Under Pressure from Queen.
Yeah, it was Queen.
It was Queen, and so he had to pay. Of course, we know James Brown and George Clinton and people like them.
But wait, I got another one. Right now, they got one going on with the highest profile dispute right now is with Tom Petty and Sam Smith over Stay With Me.
Okay.
That's the newest one out, but
So,
you know what? We
but the
talked about
precedent was
this
just-
last week.
The precedent's been set.
The
though.
precedent's been set, and they are busting them in the head. Yo, Tom Petty, and everybody knows who Tom Petty is, and if you don't, then you need to get from underneath your rock and go back and listen to the old school music. But Sam Smith, everybody knows him. What's that joint? He be crying.
Didn't he just win a Grammy, or was he on a Grammy or something?
Yeah, something like with Mary J. As a matter of fact, the collaboration with Mary J. So, is Mary J. going to be in on that too?
I don't know. It's a good question. Michelle K is listening. She said she loved both versions of the song, but even though they sound similar, they're different. I think the family just wanted a piece of the pie. I definitely agree with you on that one, Michelle. I listened to both the songs. The songs are so different with regards to the content. The harmony wasn't the same. I mean, you can argue that there's some similarities, but similarities to the tune of $7.5 million. I mean, come on, man. Did PM Dawn pay Spandau Ballet for Set Adrift on Memory Bliss? Did they pay?
No.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe they did.
No, they ain't. Well, not that we know of.
Not that we know of.
Because it wasn't that controversial back at the time. Because PM Dawn really.
I do know that Biz Markie's career was derailed because of sampling issues, because he didn't get the proper samples cleared, and they ended up bankrupting his record company, and that's the reason why Biz Markie ended up kind of disappearing from the music scene. And so there is, I think we just got some precedent set with Marvin Gaye's family against Pharrell and Robin Thicke, but
yeah,
like this, I don't know. I don't know. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Let's move on, Joe.
Okay.
Next thing I want to get into, Creflo Dollar. Creflo Dollar runs a mega church in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Creflo Dollar.
Dollar bill, y'all.
First of all, his name's Creflo Dollar. I'm trying to be a professional talk show host here, but the reality is the guy's name is Creflo Dollar. I mean, come on, man.
Holla.
You get me, Creflo Dollar, really? But being a grown up here, he is a pastor and the leader of a mega church in Georgia, and he recently asked for his parishioners to make donations to the tune of $300 per person so that he can raise $60 million to purchase a new jet for his and his family. He's seeking 200,000 people in his community to commit $300 or so for the G650 airplane. The figures were presented Friday in a nearly 6-minute video on Creflo Dollar Ministries website, and a total more than $60 million needed to buy the Gulfstream G650, which goes for about $65 million. Now, the page has since taken down the request because of a lot of the negative publicity that has come out of it. But I'll be honest with you, man. I got a problem with it. He said, first of all, he said Jesus wants him to have this plane.
Maybe he does.
Maybe he does. You know, I'm not a Christian man. I'm not. You know, I'm not a Christian man, and I am very, very religiously cynical. I'm a spiritual man. I know we're not here by ourselves, and so you know, you ain't got to question me and all that kind of stuff. All I'm saying is stuff like this is the reason why I began to try to look beyond a specific religion and look more holistically with regards to deity. That's just one thing. Okay. But here's the other thing. Dr. Umar Johnson, who was a man who came to Richmond, and many listeners to this show know who Dr. Umar is. Came to Richmond last summer in June. He gave a lecture, and in that lecture, he talked about his direct lineage to Frederick Douglass. He's a direct descendant of Frederick Douglass, and he was looking to raise some money to start a school. St. Paul's College here in Virginia is now defunct. It was closed a few years ago, and the site is still there, and he was looking to utilize that physical location to start his school. And we're looking at $5 million request that he was looking to get. And $5 million he was unsuccessful in raising. Whereas Creflo Dollar is asking for $60 million for an airplane for him and his family.
And he going to get it.
And so what I want to do is I want to have the discussion. And I want folks that's listening. We know you're listening. So jump in here. Call us at 804-402-2893. Hit us up in social media if you've got an opinion. The question that I'm going to ask, Joe, to you directly is your opinion. $60 million for the airplane for Dr. Umar Johnson. Excuse me, the airplane for Creflo Dollar, Reverend Creflo Dollar,
right,
or the school for Dr. Umar Johnson. Which one would be more beneficial?
To who?
I left that part out because I left that part out for a reason.
Because you wanted me to do that?
I wanted you to address.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, and this is totally Big Bros Joe's opinion. And if you disagree with me, you know, like Marcus J said, give us a call, 804-402-2893. Legacy Internet Radio Live in the Den. My opinion is, and I know I'm waiting on somebody to call in now because they hit me. Oh, wait. We have a caller. So a caller, answer the question that you said. Which would that LB said? Which is more important, the $5 million for Dr. Umar Johnson's school or the $65 million that Creflo did with his prayer patches? Holla at us.
Okay, I think the money for his school is more important. Me being a preacher's daughter. And me being around preachers my entire life. So
you a PK kid, right? Hold on, I'm gonna just put this out here. I need to preface this because everybody might not understand. You a PK kid, right? Y'all the most bad kids in the world.
I'm not a bad kid.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna hold my opinion. Keep on going.
I feel like the preachers that I grew up with was about making sure that the word got out, that the teachings got out, not about me trying to drive a Bentley or get an airplane. That's not what it's about. If you're out here trying to save lives and save souls, how you do it is most important than how you get there. I don't understand that. And the fact of the matter is, being here in Charlotte, and then, you know, I've sang for John P. Key. I've sang for different artists when I was in college. They would go out in the streets, feed the homeless. They would go on the streets and get their words out. Not the fact of the matter is, okay, I'm going to drive this car, or I'm going to get this plane, or I'm going to get this house. It doesn't make sense to me. Yes, I'm passionate about this because that's not the way that I grew up, having to get a plane from A to Z. That don't make sense to me.
I can dig it, Chantel. We appreciate you continuing to listen to us and continuing to support us. So basically what I'm hearing from you is, get Dr. Umar his $5 million. Creflo, you tripping. Is that pretty much fair assessment? Basically.
Mm-hmm.
Our sister. Thank you so much, Chantel. Call us back. Appreciate it. Keep listening. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. live from the Den. Legacy, Internet Radio, Big Bro Joe. Creflo Dollar wants that money. I say that you are. Well, first of all, Michelle K is listening. Just as I was getting ready to say what I was going to say, Michelle K, I saw her comment jump in here. She said, Creflo Dollar, no, he wrong for that. He don't need no plane. That's just being greedy. I can't say it any more clearer than that. I mean, the truth of the matter is, when you are the leader of a congregation, and you're seeking poor people to help fund your lifestyle under the guise of leadership and under the guise of, I got to get to where I got to go safely. You need to have the biggest, fastest, most luxurious airplane that is available. It's worth $60 million so that you can do that. My question is, for those folks who think that I'm being a little bit hard on the pastor, the Reverend Creflo Dollar, how about we speak to all of the so-called millionaire people who are sympathetic to Dr. Umar Johnson and schools and education and advancement and social consciousness. $5 million ain't a lot of money, people. It's just not. Where are they? And I'm not going to call anybody out by name. If you listen to this show, you already know how I feel about this. You already know the names that are on the tip of my tongue. We talking about $5 million. Man, please, some of these cats got $5 million in the ashtray of their car, man. For real? $5 million, that's all we talking about to start a school? But he got to go and lecture here and lecture there and go from city to city to town, begging and begging and begging poor people to give him $5 here, $10 there, $50 there to fill the coffers to start a school. When this dude, he asked for $60 million for an airplane. Now, I know they're two separate issues. I know they're two separate stories. I know that some would find it unfair to put them together, but I put them together because it speaks to the priorities that many of us in our community lack. You want passer with a P.
Did you say passer?
You want passer to be able to pass his ass through the sky. Him and his family. $60 million that's going to benefit him and his family. Oh, no. It's not going to benefit him and his family. It's going to benefit everybody that he's going to be able to serve by being able to get safely from point A to point B. Whatever, man. Passer.
I'm with you.
With a P. Just take the M and put a P. Because that's what you are. You a slave to that mess. Whereas a school that Dr. Umar and others could found that will school the minds of the next generation of socially conscious men and women who will be able to pass along their knowledge and pass along their energy and pass along their fire to the next generation. We grew up being taught that education is key, right?
Yeah.
We grew up being told go to college so you can get a good education, so you can get a good job. But it's $5 million and he can't raise it. Whereas Creflo Dollar, even though they took down the website, he gonna get his $60 million.
Yeah, he gonna get that.
Come on, man.
All right.
Come on, man.
I mean, I'm with you. I get it. I understand it. Do I agree with Creflo? Man, I haven't agreed with Creflo since he had them little prayer claws and you put some little garbage water on it and said that it was a prayer claw.
Ain't no ass stepping with Marcus. All right, we're going to move on to our next story. Our last story of the night. I want to talk about what's going on in Oklahoma. There's two things going on in Oklahoma that we can talk. Well, actually, there's one. There's the school situation with regards to the fraternities, and then what's going on in Ferguson, Missouri. We're going to kind of merge those two things together and kind of talk about them. So, but before I do that, I mentioned earlier on in the show that we were going to be joined by a hip-hop legend right here on the show. That hip-hop legend is Method Man. Method Man checked in to MSNBC Tamron Hall show just over a couple of days ago. Had a very, very interesting conversation with Tamron Hall. He said a lot of things. that I definitely think are interesting that
LB.
our listeners would be interested in hearing. Take a listen. We're going to talk about it on the other side. Method Man and Tamron Hall.
Who opened fire. Now, witnesses described hearing at least 4 shots fired in the direction of the police officers. The crowd was gathered outside the department following the resignation of Police Chief Thomas Jackson. Those on the scene described much of the night as a peaceful prior to that shooting. And I'm joined now by hip-hop legend and a member of the iconic group Wu-Tang Clan, Method Man, who spoke out during the aftermath of Eric Garner's death in Staten Island, New York, the same town where, of course, Method Man grew up. And the Garner case has drawn similarities to what's happening in Ferguson. Full disclosure, we were going to talk about this movie that you've got coming out. You've transitioned from hip-hop, which you're still, of course, loyal to acting. But I said, you know what? I want Method Man on to talk about just his thoughts. You had a friend who was killed some time ago in Staten Island as a result of a believed to be a police shooting, and
no, it wasn't a police shooting. He was actually death by asphyxiation, the same as Eric Garner.
Same as Eric Garner, I apologize.
Yeah, and you know, when you see a pattern like that, it kind of raises an eyebrow. There are great people in my old community that, you know, law-abiding citizens just go to work every day, come home, feed their kids, you know, struggling, but, you know, this is our way of life. And there are great cops out there, too. Some cops, you know, they go above and beyond the call of duty to maybe help someone with the groceries upstairs, things of that nature. They're community cops. But then you have some bad apples, and all bad apples don't, you know, ruin the batch. For me, being on both sides of it, because earlier on in my life, being a youth in the hood, I would be harassed. You know, illegal searches, the works. As I got older, knowing my rights, and I guess because of the persona, you know, Method Man or whatever, great Staten Island dude, cops are a little bit more lenient. They, you know, a bit more understanding. Maybe they didn't want to write the ticket that day. Who knows? I was treated differently. So I know there aren't all bad cops. There aren't all bad people in the hood. I just think there should be some type of forum for both sides to speak to each other so there can be some type of understanding.
Well, you know, it's so interesting. We've been having this conversation for a very long time. Listen, when NWA came out with that infamous song, F the Police, I mean, people were offended. Some people said, oh, this is about hating cops, but it was actually a story of what was happening. And that was the 80s, you know, and now here we are, 2015, still talking about this adversarial relationship amongst some police officers and some within minority communities, black and brown.
Well, a lot of that has to do with, like I said, the communication barriers. I mean, like that thing with NWA, with F the Police, there was a lot going on.
Of course.
In LA at the time. And, you know, hip hop has always reflected his background. And a lot of us felt that way at that point in time. Like, you know what? F them. I'm looking at my situation being searched at 13, illegally searched at 13, and I'm on my way to a menial paying job for summer youth employment, just minding my business, and I'm getting searched in my own building where I live at. F the police, you know? But in the same sense, you got to understand that it's all about fear. They're
on both sides.
On both sides, exactly. We're afraid of the police, of what they can do and the power that we think that they wield. As far as if something happens to me from a police officer, will it be covered up? Will there be justice for me? Whatever. Same with the cops is we don't live in these neighborhoods. We just know what we see on television or what other officers have told us, and we're just as frightened as these people. You know, but we have guns. And when you deal with human nature, not just this is an officer who's dealing with things professionally, he's still a human being. And when that fear kicks in, you never know what can happen. I mean, I just made an analogy the other day about how someone can tap you on your shoulder, scare the mess out of you, and your first reaction to turn around and you might smack them. Imagine if you have a gun in your hand. It's the same thing. Now, with this thing that happened, I guess in Ferguson just now with the 2 officers, sad, very sad. I hate to say that that FBI report kind of played into this, and these things shouldn't be happening, but you reap what you sow, in a sense. You know, if that FBI report would have never came out, and, you know, the scandal or whatever, and how they're, you know, basically paying the city by giving people tickets and things like that is incredibly insane. But we knew this already. This is common knowledge in the ghetto. When I used to get, like when they come in the hood, and I mean, guys used to sit out and drink beer in public, stuff like that. It's never a problem at times, but when they're trying to make quotas, everybody's
well,
ticketed.
Well, that's applied to drug arrests, for example, as well. I mean,
Absolutely.
The number of arrests with marijuana, the time that people are sentenced for drug offenses when they are black and brown versus white. So I think that, you know, when I look at your career and the tract of it from starting out, as you pointed out, as you say, in the hood to where you are now, this voice, are enough black men like you taking the lead and speaking up?
We have a lot, but I don't think they have the same voices that some of the rap artists or actors do, because the kids see us more. You know, we have people like Cornel West. I love him. He's like a big brother to me. A lot of people, even Torre. Yeah. You know, I love the fact, and Torre's from the bottom to the top. You know what I mean? He came up with me as far as interviews and things. I mean, we got a lot of black people that can speak, because I'm not, I mean, GED, high school diploma, you know, but I deal with things on a scale of real, where I can grasp them on a grounded level, where I can give you analogies all day of how I feel, but I can't put it in political speak. So
well, you do a great job at it, and I just think, I mean, I could talk to you all day long, so that means you've got to come back. We have to talk about so much more. I know you're on the road, but congratulations on everything, and most importantly, thank you for being such a powerful and authentic voice.
I appreciate that.
So happy.
And you know how Steppin with Marcus J. Joe. You heard Method Man and Tamron Hall.
M-E-T-H-O-D.
Man.
M-E-T-H-O-D.
But the thing is, man, he had some very interesting comments with regards to how we as black males, formerly young black males, feel with regards to our relationship with the law enforcement. And one of the key things that I think that I took from what he said, Joe, when he said that because I'm Method Man and I've gotten to a certain level of prominence, they know who I am, so they treat me a little bit different. That was powerful to me, because what about the cats that's still left in the neighborhood that may look like Method Man?
You mean like us?
Like us, like you, like me. Now we're a little bit older, and so it's a little bit different. Not a lot different, but a little bit different. But the fact that he said some of the things that he said, and he talked about after police and all that. What do you think, man?
Yo, I mean, let's be clear. Being that person who grew up and understood what Method Man was saying, because I was that cat, I understand what he made the mention of being a 13-year-old going to a menial job and being pulled by the police in his own neighborhood. As a matter of fact, he said his own building. And I can understand that by being the guy who rode a moped to work. And I worked while going to school when I was in high school. And yeah, I've gotten pulled over because on a moped just because I look like I was a big dude who might be up to no good. I think it's shameful that our society has come to the fact where our police have always profiled young black men just because they were scared of what we are. And I say that very, 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 I don't even know the word I want to use, folks, and I'm going to get a little choked up for a second, because it's, for me, when you're the fat kid on the block like I was, when you're the biggest thing on the block and everybody just assumes that you're menacing just because your stature is big, I've been told by teachers that you are intimidating. Why? Just because I'm big and I'm intelligent and I don't allow you to say things to me that are detrimental to me and I'm going to allow to happen? No. My parents always breathe life into me. It's like, hey, Joe, you are a young man. You are a man's child, and you need to make sure that you say what you need to say in a respectful manner. Even to this day, in the role that I hold now, which holds a lot more detriment because I have the power of people's jobs in my hand. Yeah, I can hire and fire and get rid of. But guess what? I give people the benefits of the doubt, and I had to make sure that I'm, as my mother would say, tempering justice with mercy. People don't understand it, but it is what it is. And I think that we've gotten so far away from that, and we need to get back to the situations that Method Man spoke of in Ferguson. We know what that was. Guess what, dude? You don't have to be trigger happy.
Yeah, they said that he said they've since captured a 20-year-old male for shooting the 2 police officers who will survive. They weren't fatal shots, but black man shot 2 cops in Ferguson during the protest last week on the heels of the report that came out about the police chief and some of the officers saying some of the things that they said. We know that Darren Wilson, Sergeant, had some really nasty things to say about the President of the United States. And we know that there have been a lot of resignations that have come out of the Ferguson Police Department in the wake of the report that came out, the investigation of the Ferguson Police Department, and a lot of the racist tactics and a lot of the racist leadership that they had there in that department. And so, you know, I find it somewhat curious that anybody who is observing this and wants to call anyone a race baiter who's speaking on the facts. Now, what I will not do is endorse what this young man did. You don't shoot nobody. You're just as bad as the police officers who we have some issues with their tactics and some of their rhetoric and the killing of Mike Brown and that sort of thing. You go in and shooting those cops, that you're just as bad. You're not helping. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't an eye for an eye type of society. It's not how we get down. It's nobody who speaks or thinks or you know, purports to be fair and logical is going to be like, yo, this dude did the right thing and we all with him. That's bullshit. No, it's not okay to shoot anybody. It's not okay to kill anybody. Because the truth of the matter is, when that young cat killed those 2 cops in New York City a couple of months ago and then went and killed himself like a coward, he was wrong too. But you going to go and kill a couple of innocent people because they wear the color blue? That's just as bad as the lynching that was going on of us back in the day because of somebody else who might have done something. You know, somebody black might have disrespected you, so you're going to just go find some random black dude to lynch? It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Damn right it is.
So it's not cool. Now, I wanted to make sure that we mentioned Ferguson, but we would be remiss if we didn't talk about what went on in Oklahoma. Now, we didn't mention this in depth because I believe the story was kind of breaking when we were on the air last week, but I'm getting this from the rawstory.com. It's about the now expelled SAE fraternity members who led their brothers in a racist chant on the bus. We've all, or many of us, have seen the video now. And one of my friends sent me this, and I had told her that I was not going to talk about this because I just didn't want to. To me, it was so obvious that what was going on there that I just didn't think that it was worthy of the time to speak on it. But Fox News and CNN and MSNBC and all of them and their reporting of this has caused me to change my mind. In this particular case, MSNBC in particular, Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski on Morning Joe a couple of days ago, they said that they obviously were disgusted by the video, but they cited rapper Waka Flocka Flame, who had done a CNN interview talking about how he was upset by the video and how, you know, it's not right and how they shouldn't talk. And their response, Mika Brzezinski in particular, I look at his lyrics and you have to ask yourself, why would he go on that campus? If you look at every single song, it's a bunch of garbage. It's full of N-words. It's full of F-words. It's wrong. And it shouldn't be discussed with them. He should be disgusted with himself. Now, let me back up a little bit. The SAE fraternity members were on a bus or a plane or wherever it was they were traveling to or from, and they were talking about how they wouldn't bring in any black people, and that's not the words they use, how they wouldn't bring in any black people, and how you will, quote, swing for a tree before you ever come in with me. And it's one of the little lyrics to the little jingle that they were singing. And, of course, they've gotten in a whole lot of trouble. They've been expelled from the campus and all that kind of stuff. Waka Flocka Flame had done a concert for them a year before, and now he's saying that he's upset about the fraternity and things that they've been saying. So that is what the folks on MSNBC were responding to. I set it up that way because I wanted to open up the discussion to talk about what these fraternity members were saying. We live in a post-racial world, right, Joe?
Yeah, we damn sure
It's a
do.
post-racial world, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Post-racial world, you still got fraternities who sing. You'll swing from a tree before you come in with me.
Well,
We don't want no ends in SAE.
Okay.
What you think about this, man?
I think that it's stupid. I really do. But I'm gonna put this back for folks who live here in the good state of Virginia. Governor Judge Allen sit there and had a noose in his office. So, and we still rehired him. Yeah, sorry, because we was stupid. Yeah, I say we. Well, not we, because I ain't vote for his punk ass to begin with. But I'm just gonna make a statement out there like this. Yeah, SAE. Guess what? Everybody has the right to say what they want to say, folks. Guess what? Hillary Clinton, right now, and I know I'm gonna catch flack for this. I am, but Hillary Clinton and her personal emails on what happened. Certain things that she put in her personal emails
and deleted 30,000 of them.
And she deleted 30,000, but the government's supposed to have records of everything. Right. She said some pretty harsh and nasty things too. But I guarantee you all will vote for her tomorrow.
No, a lot of folks will. Let me have you address this next statement. When I put this out in social media, the question that I asked was, are we blaming the victim here? Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. That was the question that I asked. When we talk about how in hip hop culture, the usage of the N-word and a lot of some of the negativity that we see is so prevalent. And the question that was asked by Weekly Standard's Bill Crystal, he jumped in and he said popular culture becomes a cesspool. A lot of corporations profit off of it. And then people are surprised that some drunk 19-year-olds repeat what they have been hearing.
Well,
end quote. Now, I got an opinion on that. I want yours first.
First of all, drunk 19-year-olds are grown-ass people and they make their own decisions. We're not going to sit here and play semantics and think that just because you're 19, you're a grown-ass person. You have an opinion and understand it clearly what you are saying. Don't blame it on nobody else. Don't be a punk. Like we don't do that on Legacy Internet Radio
they
here.
They have Steppin, ain't it?
They have Steppin. That's bullshit. We not have Steppin, folks. Yo, if you're going to make a statement, be man or woman enough to stand behind your statement and be able to take the consequences that could potentially come from your statements. I mean, I don't know if that's where you were going, Marcus.
No, you went where I wanted you to go because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, while I can't stand that nasty, vile, destructive, nasty N-word, and anybody that says it has a problem with me when they say it.
Yeah, I know. You done looked at me sideways a couple of times.
Yeah.
And you know what? We think as a culture that saying now I'm going to put this out here, and I'm going to put this out here very politely. You can use the nigger or the nigga word, and it's both.
I can't believe you just said that.
Well, but wait.
I can't believe you just
I
said
wasn't
that.
being wait. Give me a second. The reason that I used that analogy was some people use one word as a connotation for being non-disrespectful.
Y'all know I'm gonna punch him in his face on the break, right?
And he will, but he understands that we not have Steppin, and that's what it is. Wasn't saying it to say negativity, but we use those words and people don't understand the connotations are still the same. It's all negative. Now, have I used those words in the past? Yes. And me as a father, as a black man, as a grown ass man, do I try to change my philosophy and thinking the way I think and change the wording that I use? Yes, because I'm not as ignorant as I was 20 years ago. And guess what? When Method Man sit there and made the comment, F the police, guess what? That's what it was. It was because I was that cat like, yo, all cops ain't no good. Yeah. As of this day, I can't say that because I have a master's administration degree in criminal justice.
Yeah. So you know better.
I know better.
You know better. And, I think anybody that's black should know better than to put a blanket statement on any other community because you should know what it feels like for that blanket statement to be placed upon you. Every single black man ain't shit. Every single black man don't take care of his family. Every single black man in Legacy and that radio and beyond takes care of his family. We all are fathers. We all have children. You know what I mean? We all do what it is that we need to do. And so when someone says that all black men quote whatever, to me is nonsense. And so I do feel strongly about that, and I feel equally strong about how you should not lay that negative statement upon police officers. However, what I also will caution you is I don't know that I'm going to be trusting anybody who has been trained to not trust me. Just think about that statement for just a moment.
You went deep.
Yeah, I went in.
But
I went
you
there.
know what, though? I went
there.
As a rebut to what you just said, guess what? I've known you better part of 25
20 years plus.
Yeah, 20 years plus. And guess what? I've been trained not to trust people. But guess what? You trust me because you allowed yourself the opportunity to get to know me.
Yeah, but our interactions are a lot more extensive than the 5 minutes we spend around each other when you pull me over, or when I see you in a store, or when you eyeballing me because I happen to look like somebody who did some dirt.
Okay, but guess what? A lot of times, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate, because guess what? A lot of times when you've done dirt, you look suspicious.
Yeah, but I mean, what about the episode of Good Times that we all remember when they had the suspect, when JJ got arrested, but when you saw who it was a short fat kid.
Come on now. That was a stretch.
It was a stretch, but it's a stretch that happens. You know, when you tell me that young black male, 5'9", 150 pounds is your suspect, and you walking through Brownsville, Brooklyn, come on, man.
That's everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, except for you.
Yeah, except for me.
Except for you, because you don't go through Brownsville though.
Yeah, I ain't smart ass.
Jersey.
That ain't where you went.
No,
but I got you.
I'm saying.
But yeah, inside joke, sucker. But I mean, but seriously, man, the profiling. You know, I heard somebody say it's okay to profile. Like, I think it was a comedian. What's her name? What's the one that looked like Wesley Snipes? Cheryl Underwood. Yeah, she was talking about how you need to profile every single person who is Middle Eastern looking.
Ooh,
after 9/11.
Hold up. That's dead wrong. Because I got some of my boys that's cool,
but see,
and they Middle Eastern.
And that's exactly the point. That's the reason why profiling is not
but
cool.
Then again, I don't trust all black folk that look at me neither.
Oh, so if we profiling, then I guess every single white man is a suspect in a lynching back in the day. Every single white man.
Well, okay.
Yeah, but we also know that it was less than 10% of white men that owned slaves. That ain't me guessing.
But you know what?
That's a fact.
But the prominent ones did.
Yeah, but less than 10% of white men owned slaves.
That's because they was just as poor as we were.
Exactly, and that's the problem with profiling. There you go. That's the problem right there.
So I hit the nail on the head?
Right on it. You just broke the nail.
But the promiscuity for that is, guess what? Those folks who sit there and want to talk about stuff, Sally Hemings was a black woman that was bedded by Thomas Jefferson, who owned slaves, who made the comments. And we can go back and I got, you know what, unlike some other folks tonight, I have my due diligence and can sit there and make statements that I can back up with fact. He made a statement that, you know what, no black man should be able to be equal to me. That's what he said.
Thomas Jefferson was in love with Sally Hemings.
Several kids and a generation later.
That was his girlfriend.
No, that was his woman.
That was his woman.
Not his girlfriend. Let's be clear.
Not his girlfriend or his wife.
No, that was his woman.
That was his woman, and he loved her. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy in that radio, Big Bro Joe, and yours truly. We are having a fabulous show. We're going to give a special shout out to those folks that are listening to us. We're going to take a break. We come back. We're going to thank y'all as individually as we can. Tonight's show was dedicated to the memory of Warren G. And Nate Dogg. Actually, Nate Dogg, I'm sorry, who we lost 4 years ago this week. Nate Dogg, of course, we know a hip-hop legend. We know he sang on the hook of many of our most famous hip-hop songs. We played a lot of them before we went live at 7 p.m. here on Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J. So we're going to go into our final break of the night, and we're going to regulate the show when we come back. We got our rants.
It was a clear dark
We got
night.
our closings. We got our thank yous. Big Bro Joe.
Yo.
Marcus J. Ain't No Half Stepping with yours truly. You're going to be back in about 4 minutes and 8 seconds.
Get it.